Hello everyone, welcome back to episode 2 of our Laravel package for crypto providers. In episode 1, we just initialized the package and installed two basic uh, packages for using in our package. But here in this episode, we are going to establish writing some initial tests and some implementing some of our basic APIs. Okay, so as you can see in our composer JSON, it's really simple and it just talk about the namespace for the code, but it didn't talk about the uh, test namespace. Okay, so first we also didn't install the PHP unit because we need it for writing our tests. So let's me to install first our the required dash dev PHP unit. Let's install the PHP unit in dev exactly. And let's right here. Okay, and for I would love to choose a shorter name for our package namespace. For instance, I name it cryptoyar. I guess it's fine. Yeah, and we need another autoload section for tests. Okay, autoload dev base r psr for standard and cryptoyar slash test tests directory. So we create our tests directory. And we need to create a unit directory for writing our unit test. And yeah, let's start with our first test class. We are going to write, yeah, it already opens. We are going to write this API test. It's the first API of the list, latest token profiles. Okay, and it's so simple. We create a new class token profile service test. Okay, namespace. Okay, so I create the first class and we just need to extend from test case from the PHP unit framework, and let's create test fetch. It's a latest token. Okay, and so simple. And that true. And okay. So notice the namespace based on your package name and the other based on your folder structure. Yeah, that matches our autoload dev configuration. This test is empty for now, but it defines our goal. The test that we are going to write needs a service, so let's create the next. Okay, our test will call a service. Let's create a service and a placeholder class for that. Okay, for this goal, I create a services directory inside the source and create a class token profile service. That's PHP. Okay, and it's low. It's writes the namespace automatically, and this also matches autoload configuration. That is right. So service handles the business logic. This one will fetch the token profiles to keep it testable and swappable. We'll use an interface. Okay, so interface defines the contracts. Let's create the contract folders first. Contracts and token file service interface. Okay, automatically renamed. So we have contracts and yeah, the name. This interface will define our service contract. The service will also need an HTTP client. So let's create the interface too. So SRC contracts, we need a HTTP client interface, HTTP client interface. And by depending on interfaces, we can swap implementation or mock them in tests. This is dependency injection that you will see the most later. Okay, then I'll create a new folder, HTTP, for writing our HTTP client. And the first class is Gazelle HTTP client. Okay, and definitely you know that this one should implement the HTTP client interface, and we'll fill it later. Okay, our service will return data objects. Okay, this service should return data objects. Let's create a DTO directory, DTO. Okay, and I can, because we use plural state for all of them, we also can name it DTOs. Yeah, it's fine. And the first DTO can be token profile. Okay. DTOs normalize API responses into predictable object. We'll also fill it when we write the real tests. So another folder that we need is config folder that we need for our package, and a PHP file, text screener.php that we will write the actual configuration for the packages. For instance, the first configuration is this one. Yeah, we have, I don't know if it's okay, or maybe we can, so for instance, text screener base URL. It can be read from the env file, or the default value can be this one. Okay, configuration also will be more and more complete later. And let's create the service provider files. Text screener. Okay, the service provider. And service provider, it's run. Yeah, from Illuminate support package that it loads the service provider. It's the Laravel entry points. We'll wire up bindings here later. But we know that service provider has two functions. Register and
Okay, here, yeah, we have two functions that you can check the service providers, but in general, we uh, rewrite two functions, register and put, that we will later fill them up. And now it's turn off test case. Yeah, I will create a test case class, but for writing some tests for Laravel packages, we have a useful package for testing Orchestra that yeah, I haven't installed them yet. This package, it's Orchestra Testbench, because our package lives outside of a full Laravel app, but we still want Laravel containers, config system, and service provider life cycle. Then when we run tests, Testbench spin up a miniature Laravel instance just for the test suites. So let's do install it. Here you can find the command, and yeah, with this package we can, as I said, we can run a Laravel instance just for test suite, so we can bind interface, publish configs, and resolve classes exactly the way a real app would behave. So here I will extend the orchestra test case, and yeah, we will override that. Let's move it up, yeah, and orchestra test case, it's the name. And okay, here inside this class we register our package service provider and set any config defaults. So here we load our service provider, We define the package configs. Now every test automatically puts Laravel, loads our providers, and shares the same environment, which makes the test results match how users will experience the package. Here I will override the base URL. It's finished.
First test case. Okay, and unit. Go inside our unit test case. Okay, we write our service first test. This make this case is make token profile service test. Okay, profile service interface class. Okay, right now service first another thing happens is all okay. There is a full MSS for everything. The test extends our test case. Request the service from Laravel container calls get latest. Assert it returns a token profile DTO. This is the red file. The first will fail. Okay, and get file. Okay, so C and here.xml. Okay, that's it. This PHPUnit configuration tells PHPUnit where to find tests and how to put test trap. That this is also going to composer of autoloader, which holds our classes. Okay. So now vendor in PHPUnit tests unit token test provider, and it fails because it should be fail. Our token service provider interface. Okay, and latest and token profile. Okay, and the token profile. What's the token profile? Token profile. Okay. 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 Thanks. Okay. 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 Leave string. String. Icon. String. Links are yeah. Links are string. This. Okay. And call it static function. Array. Array. Later. Save. My GitHub. Okay. My GitHub Copilot at work. So I will copy icon. Okay, it's fine. Now we go with token profile service and public function construct private HTTP client interface HTTP client and then public function get latest because they implement token interface latest profile and response call this HTTP client get okay, and return dollar token profile response. Okay, and we go the service provider inside register. We introduce the config file. Config file. There are config screener PHP. Text. Okay, and let's add signal on HTTP client interface. Got the display and token process interface, token profile service. Okay, and in root we publishers. Okay, click the screener PHP. Add the text PHP and assumption. Assumption. Texas config. Okay. Here we provide interface implementations. When someone requests token profile service interface, Laravel provides token profile services and automatically inject the HTTP clients. Okay, update HTTP client interface, HTTP client interface. Now let's go update it in. Function get string the endpoint forms. Okay, simple interface. One method that returns one array will implement this next episode. Run the test again. Okay, test fails. But now, because HTTP client isn't implemented, that's episode 3. Because HTTP client, it's not interface. And in next episode, I'll tell you how we can implement the HTTP client. Okay? Yeah. In next episode, I'll see you later.